Hi everyone, and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have another scrapbook process to share with you today, and please forgive the really choppy editing. I had this at 35 minutes and I tried to chop it down so it was less than 30 minutes, and I got it at 28, and that's the best I could do. So sorry if it's so long. I've already pre-selected some pieces of paper that I wanted to use on this layout, and I'm pretty sure everybody will forgive me that this video is so long because Johnny Depp is the main focus of my layout this week. So I'm pretty sure everybody will forgive me if you're a Johnny Depp lover. So the pieces of paper I chose were that heart paper that came in the kit this month. And then I had some other scrap pieces of paper that I wanted to use, and there's a reason why I chose the scraps the way I did. That's showing a layout that I made a little while ago. I didn't do a process video on it, but I did do a share on it. I wanted to have this beside it, so I wanted to have the colors kind of go with that particular layout. So the color scheme for that one was pinks and blacks and grays. So there wasn't a lot of pinks or grays in this kit, so I had to dive into my stash. So again, use the heart paper from this month's kit. That's an Amy Tangerine Yes Please paper. I used a Heyday paper. That's that pink kind of funky geometric pattern. I used the Miss Caroline, I think it's Dilly Dally or something like that. It's that gray stripe. I had some scrap pieces of paper that came in. I think it was maybe last month's kit. And it's kind of like this arrow pattern, and I just kind of cut them so that they were straight. And you kind of saw a glimpse of it before. And I used a doily as well because I had a doily in the other layout as well. So here I'm just kind of placing things down that I think I might use. Oh, and sorry, the Johnny Depp picture is matted on a piece of Amy Tangerine sketchbook paper. It's like a black and white dot. So here I'm just kind of looking at some of the pieces that I might use, and this is some fabrics. It's been in my stash for a while, and I used it on the last layout. And here I just ripped off a piece of it, and it was a little too wide, so I'm just ripping it in half. And I'm just going to use one of those. I have that Amy Tangerine ribbon laid down, but I'm not actually going to use it. I like the idea of adding a little bit of blue to the layout, but it just kind of contradicted with that fabric at the bottom, so I take that away. And I pulled out that Picture Perfect stamp. I knew I wanted to use that somewhere on the layout, so I just had that sitting out, but I'll kind of take it away for a moment. And I'm just kind of making the little points on the arrow a little bit more defined on some of those pieces. And I had these stickers, and they're the My Mind's Eye Sweetest Thing Honey label stickers. And there was this one here that looked like one of those movie, I don't know what you call them, like the clapper things where it's like marks the scene. And I really liked that, and it had date and location on it. And so I really liked that. I ended up covering some part of the date, so I end up pulling out another one. Here I needed something to journal on. I didn't want to write in the white space this time. So I pulled out, this is from that pad of paper I got, and it's from the Party Day Crepe Paper Collection. And I cut out one of the journaling pieces, and here I'm cutting out one of the tags, and it matches really well to that fabric. And that was the hard thing. I was having a hard time matching papers to that fabric. It's kind of like a minty, aqua-y color, so it's not quite bang on to that journal piece and the tab piece, or the little tag piece, but it's close enough where I could live with it. And here I'm just taking some twine, and this is close to my heart twine. It's black and white, but I have some other stuff from Studio Calico. I'm just trying to use up whatever I had in my stash first before I start diving into the new stuff. And this twine is like, it'll take me forever to probably use up the stuff that I have, let alone the stuff that I just bought. But I have it anyway, because I'm pretty sure everybody understands you can't have enough baker's twine or any scrapbooking supplies, let alone anything else. So here I'm just I saw Shamel Lane do this on a layout, and I really liked how it added a little bit of texture to it. She kind of like made a really, really loose knot. She kind of wraps the twine around her ink a couple times and then just slips it through like the little string through, like she's going to tie it in a knot, but she doesn't. And I liked how it added a little bit of texture to the layout. So I tied 2 more just because there was that baker's twine on the tag, but there was no black anywhere else other than the mat on the photo. So I wanted to kind of tie that baker's twine into somewhere else on the layout. So I thought that would look really good. So here I pulled out this die cut piece that I cut with the silhouette, and these are the cut files that came with this month's kit, and it has this love written all over it. So I wanted to ink it up just so that I would match the rest of the layout, and I pulled out this is, I think, Sweet Cherry color shine, and I thought about using it, but it wasn't quite the right color. And then I noticed this mist, I think it's called Bloomer, that came in the Project Life, no, the card kit, and it's the right color that matches the rest of that paper there, so I wanted to use that instead. So I went to all that trouble of shaking up that color shine, and I didn't even end up using it anyway. And here there was just one little little dot that didn't get loose from the rest of the pieces, so I just kind of used my pokey tool to get rid of it. And you didn't see it, I cut it off, but I took my heat gun and inked or dried up that ink on it, and it dried quite a bit softer than it was before, and it matches even better now than it did before to that heart paper up top. And here I'm just fussing with the placement of that love piece, just trying to see if it would look better over top or underneath that little gray arrow stripe. And I like it underneath because it kind of gives a shelf for that love to sit on. It doesn't feel like it's floating in the air. So I like how that looked a little better. So here I'm going to fast forward again, and this is really choppy editing, and I'm so sorry. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw lines around the edges of each of these pieces. And this is just kind of the tail end, and I did it to each and every one of the pieces except for the background layout. I didn't do it to the background white piece of cardstock. So here I'm just going to lay everything back out again to make sure that I've got the right placement. And that little heart circle piece, I just inked it up with some black ink because I don't draw very good circles, and I was worried if I drew a circle around it, it would look like not like a circle anymore. So I just took some black soot ink and inked it up on the edges. And that little heart piece, that is actually from one of the printing cut files that came in this month's kit. Well, it didn't come in this month's kit, it was an extra. And same thing with that snapshot, that little pink arrow piece up at the top. Where that little label sticker is with like the little movie piece. And because I used some gray washi tape in the other layout, I wanted to kind of add that in just to kind of make it feel like it fit. So I used the same washi tape, and it's from My Mind's Eye. And I'm not sure which collection it's from. I know it's from The Sweetest Thing, but I'm not sure which which color, whether it's the bluebell or the honey, can't remember. And I also used this wood veneer piece that came in the Studio Calico kit, and it has hello on it. And I know I showed it in the beginning, but I had used just a piece of like one of those border strips that came in the kit, and it's from a Studio Calico piece. I think it's called Sundrifter, or something like that. And I used that as like kind of just to pop that hello, so you could see it a little better. And I'm glad I used this wood veneer piece, because in with me kind of like rifling through the pieces of paper, it was getting really bendy and I was so scared I was going to break it. And it really fit in with this layout quite well. So I'm glad I used it now, because if I would have broke it, I would have been just heartbroken. So anyway, I'm glad that I did that. And then here what I did is, because I was so concerned with making sure that I didn't break that piece, I was just putting the glue on the layer pieces and then setting everything back down on top of it. I was just worried that it was going to crack. Even though I glued it, it just felt not strong yet. So here I'm just laying down these pieces, and I'm going to add this journaling piece in, and I just turned it the other way just to kind of make it look like all the papers were kind of just thrown on the desk and just kind of, you know, different directions kind of thing. And just adding this tag in behind the picture. And I'm just going to get each of my little embellishment clusters ready to go. And I just think what I was trying to do is figure out what kind of glue to use on that piece there. And this is this dot runner that I got from Studio Calico, and I wanted to try it just to see how well it works. And it's really good glue. I'm not sure because I never had the blue one, but there's a blue one that's called it's from This and That, and this is the same thing. It's called This and That as well. It's just pink. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. I'm not 100% for sure. But the glue does work really well, especially for smaller pieces, and that's pretty much all I really use it for, is just really small pieces that I can't use my ATG gun for, but it does work really well. So if you are looking for a good glue runner, that one's really good. I just think that it's really expensive for me to be using it all the time. And I've had it for probably maybe about a month. And I was looking at it today and I've used up about half of it. So I think that adhesive or like the refill rolls are probably around $3.50 or $4 or something like that. So it's a little bit on the pricier side. So I only use it for the small pieces. So here I'm taking some of these arrows that came in last month's kit. Just wanted to add a little bit more, and I pulled out this freckled fawn arrow as well, but I don't end up using it. I like the skinnier arrows that the Studio Calico came out with. And here's another sticker that I use, and it's got the date on it, and I wished I would have kind of really looked at it, but I was looking at more or less just for color for that particular sticker. I wanted to add a little bit more pink up to the top, and because I already had one that had the date on it, but I do come up with a resolve for that, I suppose. So here I'm using some jet black archival ink, and I just really wanted a nice crisp, clean, sharp stamp for this little stamp that says Insta Love. And so I'm going to use that because I really liked how that fit in. Because I had that little die cut piece that had love at the bottom, and I wanted to add something else up top. So I'm going to tuck that in underneath the other embellishment cluster that's there. I just checked it in a couple other placements here just to see how it would work, but it looks better underneath that little cluster. And I think here I'm trying to figure out what to do for my title, because I know I have to add that in soon. I'm just kind of looking at the alphabets that came in the kit. I also pulled out, oh no, sorry, here I'm going to be doing some misting. I'm not going to actually spray or drip. I'm actually going to use these little eyedropper. I wanted really big pink and black splatters. So this is actually using that sweet cherry, I believe it is. No, sorry, this is primrose. This is, I just wanted like some shiny splatters of ink, so I used the eyedropper for that. And then here I'm coming in with some jet black ink, and I'm going to do the same thing. I didn't want to use the black velvet like I did on the other layout. The black velvet, when it dries, it's got a bit of a gold shine to it, and I wanted it to be black. So I used the inky black, I believe it is. Oh, yes, inky black from Mr. Huey's. And so here I'm just trying to figure out what my title's going to be. And I should have dried this because I did kind of smudge it around a little bit when I was figuring out placement. But it still looks good. You could just tell it's been smudged. So I was going to put my title as The Smoldering Look, but I decided against it just because I couldn't figure out how to put like the in somewhere on the layout to make it fit. And I was going to put that I had a Pebbles chalkboard stamp and it said I love, and I was going to use that as well to put like I love the smoldering look, but it just didn't work out very well, so I just changed the title to Smoldering Look. And I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I think I'm trying to figure out how to spell smolder just to make sure I was spelling it right, because my spelling is atrocious. So I use the dictionary online all the time just to make sure I spell correctly. My grandmother would probably come loose if I didn't spell things properly, and I don't, but anyway. So I'm using these kind of like ombre looking thickers that came in the kit, and they're the Goodness font, and I really like how they have like the ombre look to it, but I didn't do it on this particular layout. I just did like random dark to light kind of letters. I didn't want it to look too ombre-ish because I didn't really have anything like that going on the page. And so here I'm starting to put down my title. So it just fit nicely underneath that hello. And here I'm taking these stickers. They're from Echo Park. I believe they're from the Photo Freedom. I don't remember what line they are, and I didn't mark it down. Anyway, they're from the Photo Freedom kit that came with like the page protectors, as well as like the different 4x6 and 3x4 cut files that you could use for Project Life. So I wanted to use that. I really liked how it added a little bit more of a black look to it. And also in my little pieces of that I keep, like my little die cut pieces that I keep on my tags, I have this piece that I found, and it's called Love. So I think that came in a kit quite a while ago. That would probably be from maybe Banana Fish Studios. I'm not sure. So anyway, I outlined it and then I tucked it in behind that tag. And you saw me before I stapled that little kind of like knotted piece by that love. I wanted to make it fit in there before I lost it, because I already lost one of those pieces. I don't know if anybody noticed, but that other piece went missing. And here I'm just gluing down some of those arrows. And I wanted to add a little bit more black in, so I took this tab and I'm going to add it to the top of that little journal piece. And I think I'm just rifling through some of my die cuts just to see if there's something else that I can add in, just for another little touch of embellishment. I found this little heart, and this would be from an October afternoon miscellany, or like maybe a flour sack. Yeah, from a flour sack. I bet you it's from Farmhouse, something like that. It's like their country kind of line that they came up with a couple years ago. And so it was just a really plain heart. I wanted to jazz it up a little bit, so I took like there's little flower type pieces on this stamp set. So I took the medium sized one, and I'm going to take some ink, and I think I use bubble gum. Yeah, I do. So I use some bubble gum ink, and I'm just going to ink up all over this heart just to add a little bit more dimension or texture to this tag, just to give it a little bit of something different. And then I put that back because I don't think I'm going to use it anymore. The stamp set, I mean. And I think I look for another heart, and I tried drawing on one and I screwed it up. So I'm not sure if that shows in here or not. There's like this red heart. And I must have had ink on my fingers because it got totally smudged, and I tried doing like putting it on the back, and it was not good on the back side either, so I couldn't even use that. So I'm looking for some more hearts to replace that one that I kind of screwed up. I think I found two more. Yeah, I did. So those are, again, probably from the Farmhouse flour sack from October afternoon. And I think I just leave those ones plain because I was worried about screwing them up by drawing on them and getting ink all over them again. So, because those were the only ones I had left. So it covers up the date part, which fixes that problem that I had in the other corner where I had used that pink date label stamp. And I was like, well, I already have two pieces that have date on it, but this one had location on it. So I figured if I could cover up the date part, then I could leave the location part and it would still fit in. And you can still see like that stripe pattern on that label, and that's what I wanted to maintain, was to keep that stripe label. And here I'm going to come in and I'm going to stamp the date on that date piece. I think I'm just going to use black ink. Yeah, I just use black set ink. I just usually use whatever's at hand, just to, you know, make sure I stamp it right. The only time I really am careful, and I wasn't this time, but the only time I'm really careful is if the stickers are really sticky, like shiny, if they have a shiny surface on it, I just make sure that I use a Stays On ink pad. So here I'm going to jump past my journaling again, and voila, my journaling is finished. Or maybe not. Slightly finished. So anyway, did my journaling on that little card. and just kind of looking at some other pieces to see if I want to add anything else into the layout. And I pull in some of these enamel dots from Basic Gray. These ones came in the kit as well. I was going to use some butterflies. I used them in the other layout. It just didn't feel right just because it's a guy on the layout and I just didn't feel like it felt like it went. So I didn't use any butterflies this time. So these are these puffy stickers that came in a kit quite a while ago, and they're from the Amy Tangerine Ready Set Go. And I added this little black heart beside the love. It just felt like it needed a little bit more of a black splash of something at the bottom of the layout. So rather than pulling out my inky black Mr. Huey's, I decided I was going to add that little puffy sticker just because it was black anyway. And all I did was add in, I put Las Vegas in the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum there as well. And here I'm just adding some little enamel dots to each of these little clusters. And I think we're pretty close to being done. I add this goodness stamp, or no, it says, what does it say? I think it says, oh goodness, is what I think it says. And I fast forwarded a little bit here because I screwed up. I stamped it in jet black ink and it smudged it. So I kind of rubbed it off as best as I could. And then I took some StazOn ink and I stamped it with the StazOn, which it looks a lot better. So anyway, yeah, that's the one time I probably should have maybe thought about it before I actually stamped it. So here I felt like it was losing a little bit something at the top. So I took another one of those little loop things that I made and I'm just stapling it down to the layout and just kind of making it fit in between that little enamel dot and the rest of the layout. So here's the close-ups. And I'm going to go a little slower this time just because sometimes I go a little too fast, and especially because there's Johnny Depp. I wanted you guys to have a good look at Johnny Depp. And then there's the title and some of the ink, and then the bottom embellishment. So stay tuned for the pictures and close-ups, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.